When it comes to aesthetics, there are so many things you can do in Stardew Valley, and more often than not, the limitation is your own imagination, even if you're playing without mods. One particular quiet afternoon, as I was scrolling through the subreddit, I saw something that really blew me away. Subreddit user Foster posted a picture of their greenhouse tea house, and I loved the idea so much it got me thinking, could I turn my greenhouse into a tea house or something similar? I couldn't part with my greenhouse though. My daughter was 5 at the time that she designed this for me, and I'm absolutely in love with it. If you're interested, you can watch the video of how she did it. I did start to wonder, however, if I could use a shed to achieve a similar result, and instead of a tea house, what if I made a coffee shop? So that's exactly what I did. As you can see, it's not perfect, but I love the vibe, and the possibilities for improvement are endless. Over the course of this video, I'll take you through what I did to get from this to this. From buying the shed, choosing the decor, growing the plants, and adding the final touches. I'll also give you a rundown of the total cost it took me to put this all together. Let's get started. To begin, you're going to need money, a lot of money.
Hello, I like money.
I specifically chose one of my saved games that I had already achieved perfection in, and so had a pile of cash ready to burn through. I also already had a shed prepared. If you don't have a shed, you will need to clear a piece of land big enough for one. You'll need a space of 7 squares by 3 squares. After securing a plot, you'll need to head to Robin and purchase a shed which will set you back 15,000 gold and 300 wood. It will take Robin a couple of days to finish the shed, and in that time you can start to think about how you would like to provide your fictional customers with drinks and food. I decided that given I wanted a coffee shop, it would probably make sense to grow my own beans and grind them on site. Yes, I'm a hipster, I get it. I figured I'd need some garden pots to grow coffee plants, and I'd need kegs to turn the beans into coffee. Garden pots are a brilliant and underrated craftable in Stardew. You can use them to grow almost any crop indoors any time of year, effectively turning any building into a makeshift greenhouse. Coffee would usually only grow in spring and summer outdoors, but with a bunch of garden pots I could grow them all year round without needing to use my greenhouse or travel back and forth to Ginger Island. Once you have the crafting recipe for them, which you get after you unlock the greenhouse, it requires 1 clay, 1 refined quartz, and 10 stone to make. I made a whole bunch as I didn't know how many plants I'd want and where I'd want to place them. Coffee beans can be bought from the travelling cart, or usually obtained in the mines by killing dust sprites. Once you grow a coffee plant, it will continue to produce beans, and those beans can then be planted to produce more plants. With just a few coffee plants, you can end up with an endless supply of espressos. I already had a huge supply of coffee beans available, so this wasn't a problem for me. The next step was to get hold of some kegs. Now, I already had a few spare, but had I needed to craft them, it would have required 1 copper bar, 1 iron bar, 1 oak resin, and 30 wood, as well as a farming level of at least 8. At this point, you probably want to check on the progress of your shed. Geez, Robin, could you be any slower? When your shed is finally ready, it's time to wait some more. Because why settle for a small shed when you could have a big shed? The upgrade to a big shed will set you back another 20,000 gold, 550 wood, and 300 stone. Remember, a small business is an investment. It's time to enter the shed. Look at the untapped potential within these walls. I could make anything. Fast forward through a montage of me making the ugliest looking things you've ever seen in your life. I should probably point out at this stage that I have a terrible eye for design. Maybe I shouldn't point that out actually. Forget I said anything. Instead, watch the creative process unfold. Painfully. A couple of great endgame items that you can use for decoration are the catalogue and furniture catalogue you can purchase from Pierre and Robin respectively. I already had these, but if you don't, then they will cost you a mere 30,000 gold for the catalogue and an eye-watering 200,000 gold for the furniture catalogue. If you're at the end game, then these lavish sums of money will feel like drops in the ocean. Buying expensive items in Stardew at endgame is the only time I can experience how Jeff Bezos must feel on the daily. After selecting some initial flooring, wallpaper and windows, I had to decide whereabouts I wanted my counter to be placed. Somewhere the fictional staff could brew coffee and serve them to the non-existent customers. One little touch I was especially proud of was putting a calendar behind the counter so it looked almost like a work schedule. Following that, I knew I wanted a reading area with a rustic fireplace. The fireplace I went with was the stove fireplace, and just my luck, it's one of the few items not available in the furniture catalogue. You remember the furniture catalogue, don't you? That in-game item that costs more than all the money you'll probably ever make in your life? Anyway, I had to go to Robin and drop another 3,000 gold for the fireplace. The rug, seating, bookcase and adornments can all be found in the furniture catalogue, so don't cost any extra money. With a cozy reading area and counter in place, I began the painful task of choosing the main furniture. This took a few tries before I found something I was happy with, and I even changed them again after this. My biggest brain moment of the entire process was to put the coffee maker I got as a reward for completing the Gifts for George quest from Evelyn behind the counter to give it more of a shop vibe. Speaking of which, I changed the counter entirely as I felt the large table was very off-putting. I went for a series of low tables and also swapped out the flooring again. Now it was time to place my garden pots and kegs. I decided that I wanted the coffee plants to grow around the main shop floor, so customers could witness the fresh production of coffee, and it would also act as a natural way of separating out the shop and giving it some depth. After planting the seeds and watching them grow, I began to become agitated with the tables. Instead of making them all uniform, I chose to have a variety, giving the place more of a reclaimed furniture kind of vibe. Did I mention something about being a hipster? You'll have probably noticed that I also went around adding decoration to the walls and tables. I loved the idea of the shop also selling food, so I headed to my kitchen to see what I could find. Placing drinks and food on the tables completed the aesthetic. I even placed a jar of milk on the counter, so if customers fancied a flat white or a latte, it wouldn't be a problem. With my plants fully grown, coffee prepared and the tables ready, I was set to throw open my doors and welcome the residents of Pelican Town. They'd be here any minute now. Oh well, maybe there's a mod for that. I hope this video has helped to inspire your own creations. If you'd like to share your own shed or even farm designs, please feel free to do so in the comments below. I love seeing what people come up with. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll catch you again next time.